Hey guys, it's Frenzy91. I'm bringing you some more Walking Dead character bios. We're nearing the end, and I'm going to try to finish them all before the second season comes out tomorrow. So I'm going to try to get these last two bios done before tomorrow for the original characters. And I'd like to apologize for my absence. That's because the holidays have just been really stressful, so I haven't been able to get as much videos as I wanted. Plus, I just finished my Call of Duty and Battlefield 4 reviews, so those took a while because I had to finish the games before I could review them. Alright, without further ado, let's get on to the next characters in the bio, which I guess you guys can pretty much tell by now are going to be Omid and Christa. Now, these two characters are very different from the other ones since we know that they're going to be in Season 2. So I can not only talk about how they affected Season 1, but I can talk about how I think they're going to affect Season 2. Alright, now, in Christa and Omid, you first meet them on the train station, and really, what I think they were supposed to be were to just replace the people we've already lost. I actually saw Christa and Omid first, and I'm like, okay, yep, we lost Carly, or Doug. We lost Lily, we lost Katja and Duck, and now we have Chuck, and then all we need is the other two people, and then Molly joins in later, and then we have a full group again, and not in personality, but according to numbers. So I was just like, these people are just here to replace those who we lost, but they ended up being pretty interesting characters. Christa and Omid couldn't be more different. They're the proof that opposites attract. Omid, unlike Christa, is far too willing to join your group.
Let's go talk to your people, man.
Since Omid pretty much didn't have much of a role after episode 3 until episode 5, let's talk about him first, because he was kind of just there during episode 4. He was just the sick person that everybody had to deal with during the whole episode. Now, Omid is very optimistic. What I like about him is that he doesn't want people to bother with him in the sense that, like, when his leg was giving him pain, he's like, no, I'm fine. He's like, don't worry about me. And I really like that about his character build. And of course, Christa, being Omid's girlfriend, is just constantly worrying about him. And Omid is actually, during episode 4, like, he constantly tries to downplay his injury, I guess you should call it.
No, it's okay. I'm good. Feel better already just being off my feet. Thanks, babe.
Of course, we know his injury was rather serious, and he really did a good job of downplaying it. Because he didn't want people to worry about him, which is nice. He wanted to keep going to the boat. He didn't want to stay behind. He didn't want to get left behind, obviously. But I do like Omid's optimism was a real breath of fresh air in this world where everybody is so down, and even Krista's kind of down. And I also liked how, with Omid, that he always cares about other people as well. Like, he was the only one to suggest, let's go back and get Chuck. I mean, Christa was one who knows Chuck was gone, but Omid was like, let's go back, we gotta help him. And then, of course, the other people were like, no, he can't help him. And then Chuck says, just leave me behind. And Omid is just like that. Even when Ben comes back, Omid is the only one to be like, Ben, what went wrong? Like, he actually cares about people. And once again, it's very rare in this world. And it's very nice to just see. He was refreshing. He was like, he was a good friend, even to Lee, no matter how bad Lee was, I think. So it was just a refreshing turn of events. I mean, the fact that he volunteers to go up with Lee to go to the tanker would really show that he was like, yeah, I'm a part of this group, I'm going to help you guys out. And that's great. Though you did this.
You son of a...
Perhaps he should have landed on his feet. I also like how Clementine immediately takes a warming up to Omid.
I think you're Clem's favorite, you know that?
Really?
Though, of course, he immediately he was like, you have a kid? That was kind of freaky, alright? I was like, okay, man, just 10 feet at all times. Enough about Omid, though. Christa actually takes a liking to Clementine as well.
I'll get to know the girl for a minute, if you don't mind.
Well, she was actually a nice character. I really liked her, but there was a few things that she had that I really disliked. One of them being the fact that she wouldn't tell you anything about herself.
What were you two arguing about when I was coming up the ladder?
Nothing.
And I wouldn't mind that so much since she just met them. But even later on, she's like so secretive. She's like, no, don't worry about it. Nothing's happening. And when Omid is trying to blab it out, of course it was that she was pregnant. When Omid is trying to blab it out, she always is like, shut up. Like, Omid almost dropped the ball like multiple times with the whole pregnancy thing. And Trista had to get in there and be like, shut up. Now, I wouldn't be so mad at her for keeping her secrets if she wasn't so intent on learning your own.
So, when were you going to tell us about the radio?
Oh, I don't know. When are you going to tell us you're carrying a baby? How about that? I do like how she kind of starts arguing with Kenny And I was kind of thinking, wait, did they bring her in to replace Lily? Because literally, her and Kenny almost never see eye to eye in this game.
Well, work faster, would you? Won't be long before those things outside figure out where we went. You know they can smell blood.
Lady, I ain't the one who's bleeding.
I mean, honestly, was that stare that she gave him the Lily stare? That looked like the Lily stare to me, where Lily really just crunched up her eyebrows and everything and looks at Kenny like, I'm gonna kill you. That was the stare. And I'm like, when I looked at that, I'm like, it's Lily! She's back, but in a different form. Another positive point about Krista is that she doesn't sugarcoat anything. She tends to just get right to the point.
You're not all right. You've reopened your wound, you're losing blood, and God only knows what might have gotten in there. It could be infected, it could be...
No offense, but you really need to work on your bedside manner.
Other than that, Krista was pretty straightforward. She was the character that wouldn't take no crap from no one, that had to know everything but wouldn't tell you anything about herself. In most cases, of course. But one thing that I noticed, and one thing that I didn't like about Krista, is how she handles Ben's situation. I mean, it once again goes to how she has to know everything. When Lee and Ben are talking, she's like, no, let him talk. I need to know what he's talking about. Why is this all his fault? And I'm like, lady, please. You're the one not telling us you're pregnant, and you're going to have to know everything about everybody else? I mean, seriously, just calm down. And how, when she was asked about, when she was talking about, really, Krista is actually the first person to suggest to leave Ben behind. You realize that? Because Kenny doesn't suggest it. Kenny says, you're not coming with.
Well, I vote we leave him. I'm sorry, Ben. I know you mean well, but all I want to do is get back to Omid, and you put that at risk.
I love how it takes Clementine to show Krista the error of her ways. Like, stop judging people. And like, you know what I think Krista realized? When Clementine said that we don't leave Ben behind, Krista's thinking to herself, after all Ben has done to this little girl, she's still willing to forgive him and take him with us. No way I could just simply not do the same when he really didn't do anything to me personally. Anyway, moving on from the whole Ben thing, one thing that caught me off guard with Krista was how attached she was to Lee after he got bit.
But you're not dead yet, so put a pin in that, okay?
Like, she was so unwilling to accept the fact that he may actually die. She wasn't even willing to talk about it. I also like how she became kind of taking care of him after a while. She was like really extra focused on his health after he got bit.
You're not looking great, and you're warm.
And when Kenny was accusing Lee, Krista was the first one to be like, we're not doing this now, this isn't happening and stuff like that. But she was honestly in denial that Lee was going to actually die. And I was thinking to myself, okay, something's up. Why is she so wanting Lee to live? Other than, my thought is this, that Krista really trusted Lee as a leader, and that she really realized that if he dies, you know, she's left with Kenny and possibly Ben, depending on your choice from episode 4. And if Ben's not there, she's just left with Kenny, which is worse for her. I tell you, she almost never agreed with Kenny. No lie, during this whole scene, she really had Lee's back. Even afterwards, too. She was keep telling, but she was really in like complete and utter denial that he may actually die. Up to the point where she didn't even want to talk about it.
Even if it just slows down the process, I'd be happy.
You don't mean that.
At some point, I was like, okay, now she's just in too much denial. Even Omid, of all people, was willing to accept the fact that he may die.
You know, whatever happens to you,
Seriously, can we not talk like that?
But of course, Krista shuts him down like, no, you're not dead, or blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, okay, Krista, at one point you're going to have to... I mean, even Kenny of all people is like, what is wrong with you?
Why are you acting like what's happened ain't happened?
I don't know whether it had to do with the baby. Perhaps she wanted Lee to take care of Clementine because her and Omid wouldn't be able to take care of 2 kids or something. I don't know, but in the end, it was still nice that she cared so much about Lee that she was unwilling to accept the fact that he may die. Overall, I like these characters. They were pretty nice. Omid was a breath of fresh air. Krista was just a tough woman who wasn't going to take crap from Kenny, which I actually liked because it was just funny again to see Kenny get yelled at by someone else other than just Lily all the time. Oh well, that's the end of their bio. Other than next season 2, I really think that Krista will have her baby. Okay, I think that Omid is gonna die though. I think that Omid is gonna die and Krista will have her baby. That's what I think. I don't know whether it'll happen episode 1, but I think that'll eventually happen. All right. Other than that, next bio we'll be doing the last member of from the original game. And I know y'all all know who that is, and y'all are really excited about seeing his bio. But we'll wait for a bit. Alright, thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.